Adam here from the Walzer Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2026 Mazda CX-50. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Alright, so today we're behind the wheel of the 26 Mazda CX-50, and this is the 2.5 turbo. So there is about 7 different trim levels. It can get a little bit confusing because there's a 2.5 and then a 2.5 turbo. But there's different equipment you can get in all models, so we'll cover some of the stuff in this one, as well as a few things you can get in the rest of the lineup. Now for 2026, not a lot of huge changes from the 25 model. More of a few shufflings of some of the different trim stuff and equipment you can get, but for the most part, I think this is one of my favorite SUVs in the segment, so we'll put it in drive, go for a spin around, and find out why. Now, like I said, with the engine options, let's begin there. So the 2.5 four-cylinder gives you about 187 horsepower. Now, that's going to be paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Then if you go to the 2.5 turbo, that goes up to 256 horsepower. Now, again, that's going to keep that 6-speed automatic, so no CVTs found in these Mazda CX-50s, as I know a lot of you in the comment sections aren't always the biggest fan of those transmissions. So keeping the standard 6-speed keeps everyone happy, and it's really smooth and comfortable on the road. Now, what's great about this CX-50 Turbo is just the way that it looks. I love the little bit more rugged design compared to the new CX-5. Just looks a little bit more kind of off-road focused. It's a little bit wider kind of compared to the CX-5, but it's very similar. There's a lot of similar equipment between the two models, and there's a lot of really cool design and luxury features that you do find in these Mazdas. Now, looking at the outside of this CX-50, this is my favorite color and probably my favorite trim. Now, this is the Cypress over Terracotta. It sounds like something you might get out of a German luxury vehicle versus a Japanese Mazda, but there is so much style on these vehicles. I love the way they look. I think Mazda did such a great job with the design language kind of through their entire lineup, but the CX-50 especially. Even the stitching inside here is supposed to resemble kind of a hiking boot, as they figured this was going to be more of the off-road or outdoor focus model in the Mazda lineup. But on the outside of this one, 20-inch wheels. They look really good. It's kind of a silver and black mesh that works really nicely with the Cypress exterior. And again, going against the terracotta interior, it's almost hard to make these look bad, but they did change a few different wheel options for the 26 model. You can also get the blacked out wheels if you want something a little bit sportier looking, but this just gives it a nice luxury touch, I think, to the outside of the CX-50. Now, the ride and drive of the CX-50 is really good. Mazdas have always been a little bit more firm on kind of the sporty side, but that's something I really like. It's not in a bad way, but it doesn't kind of float on the highway. It's very direct. Like the steering inputs, if you want to go somewhere, you put the wheel where you want it to go, and that's where the CX-50 is headed. You can tell they build one of the best sports cars of all time in the Mazda MX-5, because you do get a lot of that from behind the wheel, yet it gives you the perfect ride height. It's not like some big SUV that you're jumping into and you're not falling into it like a smaller Mazda 3. It's like the perfect step-in angle, and I really do like the visibility in here. Everything is where you want it to be, everything you can see easily. Even there's a car next to me in my blind spot, so I do get blind spot monitoring in here, as well as a ton of other safety features. Things like adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning. There's so much good stuff built into these vehicles. If you're driving an older Mazda or maybe an older vehicle and you haven't had things like the adaptive cruise control or even blind spot monitoring, it does make a pretty big difference for your day-to-day commute. Or maybe you're running up to the cabin, want to relax a little bit. You can set that 4-3-2-1 car length distance, keeps that distance when you're on the road. There's also a heads-up display. So that shows me like the incoming stop signs, the cruise control stuff, just my miles per hour. That is really cool, and one of those things to keep your attention focused on the road. Now, speaking of attention, this also has wireless charging for my phone, so I don't have to be messing with it because you get wireless Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. The wireless CarPlay is pretty great. Now, there is a little controller down here, but you can use the touchscreen in motion setting, so you can turn it on where you can still reach up to the screen. But once you figure out the little dial down here with the little Mazda infotainment system, it just works so good. Makes it easy to kind of fly through stuff. There's also voice controls, so you can click that on the steering wheel if you want to use it that way. It's just a good way to stay safe and paying attention, yet not be messing with your phone, because I know we've always got our phones with us, but when the infotainment system works as well as this one does, there's no lag, it's very responsive. There's even a new third screen all the way over in the CarPlay, so you can look at like your weather, your calendar, some of your photos can even pop up in there. It's pretty cool. Now, looking at the back of the CX-50, like I said, it's a little bit wider and maybe a little bit shorter than the CX-5, but you don't really suffer anything from cargo space. So this does get a power liftgate on this particular model. Also in the back, it's a 60-40 split rear seat. So there's convenient little handles you can pull on one side or the other, kicks down each side, or if you want to pick a side, just makes it easy. So if you're loading up gear, like I said, maybe you're going camping, going away for a long weekend, need a little bit of extra space, that's pretty nice to have. This also does get a spare tire underneath the back. So I know that's a lot of questions we get. You can lift up the floor, spare tire under there. There's little storage cubbies kind of on each side as well, which makes it really nice. So there's just plenty of room and space for all your gear, all your stuff. There's even roof rack rails up above. So if you want to put the crossbars on, or they do make the Meridian edition. So that's going to be even a little bit more off-road focused with a little different wheel and tire setup. So if you're really planning on doing a little bit of light off-roading, that might be one to consider there. But then into the second row, one thing you notice right away, and even something they added to the new CX-5, is how wide the doors open. So if you're loading the kids into the car seat, the door's not going to be hitting you in the backside anymore. It just gives you that little bit of extra room to get everybody in comfortably. And then there is quite a bit of headroom and knee room back here. I was surprised because even some third row SUVs, I struggle a little bit with headroom as I'm a little bit over 6 feet tall, but where I'm sitting comfortably, I was still able to get in the back. I had knee space, tons of headroom back there, and this one also gets the panoramic sunroof up above. So sometimes you can lose a little bit of headroom when you add that panoramic roof, but I didn't really notice that at all, and it is such a cool thing to have. Especially with the lighter interior, it just really opens it up in here, just gives you that nice kind of airy, comfortable feeling. I love having that, and like I said, you can still keep the roof rack up there, which is pretty nice. Now, into the driver's seat. So there's a lot of pretty cool equipment, and I think maybe makes it worth it to jump up to the turbo, because like I said, the ride and drive, it's 187 horse to 256. So there's a pretty big jump in horsepower when you go to the turbo, but fuel economy, you only lose 1 mpg. It's still 25 combined or 29 on the highway, so you're not sacrificing a ton like maybe some of the other manufacturers when you go from the standard engine to the turbo. Kind of makes it worth it in my mind, especially this kind of base turbo package. You still get so much cool stuff in here. Now, this one will get heated and ventilated seats for driver and passenger. This is also a power seat with lumbar on my side, and then you do get memory controlled seating in here, which is also a pretty nice feature. But just the way you're sitting in these leather seats, the terracotta looks so good. I love this color combo. Like I said, cypress over terracotta sounds like something you would find in a Bentley, not something you would maybe find in a Mazda, but it just works on this vehicle. The metallic green, when it hits really nicely in the sun like it does today, it is a beautiful color, and Mazda always has some of the best paint. Their Soul Red color looks so good, and this green is no different. And I mean, like I said, into the interior, where you kind of feel like you are in a hiking boot, but the seats are really comfortable. Again, a little bit more on the firm side, but I like that. You can easily eat up 300 miles, it says, until I run out of gas. I would have no problem going from Minneapolis to Chicago in a day. You'd be comfortable, heated in the morning, ventilated seats in the afternoon. You are pretty much dialed in there. You can even add a heated steering wheel as you work through the packages to even make it more comfortable for your day-to-day. But this steering wheel is great. There's also paddle shifters, so I can kick it over, I can manually change through the gears, I can even use the MI or My Drive to put it into a sport or off-road mode. So if you want to have a little bit more fun, you can do it that way. Like I said, this is a fun to drive, good looking vehicle. And I think the price point is pretty much on cue. Now these start around the mid $30,000 price range. This turbo with all this equipment, all the good stuff like the wireless CarPlay, the panoramic sunroof, and so much more, $40,000. So that's not including any discounts or anything else right now. And when we're looking at the average new car price at over $50,000, this being 10 grand back of it, it doesn't feel like I'm getting a less than average amount of equipment. Heated and ventilated seats with wireless CarPlay, all the safety in here, the pano sunroof, like I said, this doesn't seem like an average amount of equipment. Not to mention all Mazda SUVs come standard with all-wheel drive. Usually that's about a $2,000 upgrade when you're looking at other makes and manufacturers. So having the usability to tackle the wintertime drives, or like I said, a little bit of light off-roading, but this thing is comfortable. It's quiet in here, it feels very well insulated, feels more like a luxury SUV that would compete with Audi and BMW versus maybe something that competes with Honda and Toyota. I mean, like I said at the beginning, this is probably one of my preferred, if not one of my favorite vehicles in the segment. The new CX-5 is also such a great vehicle. These are reliable. I love the transmission and the drivetrain. The turbo is fun. It looks good on the outside. And like I said, with all the safety and the price point, starting at the mid $30,000 price range, you're getting a lot of car for the money here, even if you go with the non-turbo and the 2.5. If you want just that absolute best fuel economy, you could certainly get it that way. But I think going with the turbo to have a little more fun and not sacrifice too much might be the way to go. So this one also gets the 12-speaker Bose sound system. So with the 10.25-inch display, the Bose system, I was jamming out this morning, had my wireless CarPlay going, I can easily get comfortable in here. And I hope that kind of makes sense. You could throw someone the keys and they would easily be able to figure out what's going on. And I think that speaks volume to the day-to-day usability of these CX-50s. They just work. They're comfortable, easy to live with, and they look good. So I think if you're shopping Honda, Toyota, Nissan, maybe some of the domestic vehicles, there's a lot of really good and very competitive choices in this kind of crossover SUV segment. But I think the Mazda CX-50 is one you're going to want to add to the list. Come out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 2026 Mazda CX-50. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walzer.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.